It has been a while, Wilder, since I've gotten to see you, and it looks like our Zoom call is lagging a little bit. So give us a chance. There we go.
Cool, hi.
Hi.
Ooh.
It's probably
So
a little
cool.
bit of latency in our call, but all those technical challenges we will just take in stride. That is what we get.
I feel like I should be reaching for my tarot cards, but we're not doing that. Okay.
You know what? And that was something that I wanted to say. This is very interesting and a very different process doing readings with another reader. And I know that you are such a practiced reader. We have done a lot of readings together before in the past, and a lot of our readings have been very collaborative interpretation of the cards, which I've really enjoyed. It's certainly a different process, and I do think I've experienced that before doing readings with other readers also before. It's worth noting for anyone learning, if you are doing a reading with someone else who reads cards, their understanding of the cards is going to have a bearing on how the message is received. You kind of got to incorporate that into the work when we're working together.
Well, I love doing very like conversational readings too.
Yeah.
Even with people who don't understand the cards. But then some people just want to just like not say anything and keep their business to themselves and like just hear what you have to say, and then they'll be like, "Cool, thanks."
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, you're welcome. All right. Yeah. So hello.
So hello. Yeah, those readings are fun. I know what you mean. Yeah, I've talked about that on the shuffle earlier. I think the difference between a reading being more like a conversation versus how it can be just listening, which is kind of cool for the people that are more ready to receive the message that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love coming across all the different types of people.
That's so cool. And you've been offering readings yourself. You just recently posted on Instagram, I think, that you are inviting people to DM you on Instagram, and for just $3 to $5, you'll give them a quick card. I saw that. I was like, that's a deal.
Dude, I love it. I love doing it. And a lot of people will send me, $5 or even $10
Sure.
for that, which is nice.
Yeah.
But
I'm happy to hear people are sending you 10 because I saw that. I was like,
yeah,
oh, undervalued.
I texted my friend and but yeah, I was telling my friend, I need to take a break from this, and I'm gonna go watch my friends live, and I'll be right back in like an hour or so. So
Great.
boundaries are important.
Right. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. What are we doing?
That's a great question. That's probably more of a question for you. What should we look at today?
So I wanted to kind of avoid a relationship question, but then Josh had his relationship question, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
all right, it's not, I'll do it. So,
okay.
I guess a little short synopsis. My partner and I have been dating for a year, just Monday or this weekend, and I've been so grumpy lately and so reactive. And I'm wondering, how I can just, stabilize my emotions and work with, myself and my response to just, feeling slightly annoyed by them, which is, usually it's not a real issue, but I'm just, and then I'm going around, So I want to see how I can get away from that.
Okay. So you've been going through some turbulent feelings of your own, and you're concerned about the bearing and effect that they'll have on your relationship. It sounds like.
Yeah.
I guess there's a couple angles that we could approach that from. One is the very direct sort of what you've suggested. You set intention very well for a card that says, how do I manage my feelings? And almost another card that begs, how do I kind of manage the effect my feelings have on my relationship? Mitigate their impact a little bit. And I can't really continue the conversation without wondering how your partner wants to support you in those feelings, and if that's worth looking at. How do I invite my partner's support? I offer that as a suggestion. Is that a card you'd like?
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing that.
Okay. That's 3 cards that I feel have a pretty clear intention. Are you ready to dive in?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's start looking at these. Perhaps let's start from the top, where we're more just focused on our own feelings and really managing our own feelings before we bring it into the complicated equation of the whole relationship. We've got, you've been noticing, man, I just get annoyed a lot, and here's a suggestion of how to manage that for yourself. It sounded like you really wanted to just ease yourself of this tension. And I'm looking at a reversed King of Pentacles, and immediately after seeing your facial expression, I am like, okay, what did this card just say to you? Here we are in a reading with 2 readers, and I'm like, you're already well on your way with a message, and I've got to keep up. What was that?
I'm trying to mitigate that, but I've just been in the flow, so it's hard.
Yeah, no, that's it. But like we said as we started this, sure. If you'd like me to go first, I absolutely can. I think we're waiting for... Okay. Waiting for a lag in the Zoom call just for a moment. I will go first and offer my interpretation here. I see this card suggesting that there's nothing exactly that you need to do. There is no necessarily like direct answer to, oh, if you do this, you'll start to feel better. It's not that cut and simple. We couldn't just draw up a flow chart for you and logically put together the steps. A lot of times feelings completely elude reason. They really do. They don't operate by reasonable terms that the King of Pentacles might wish they did. And so there has to be some amount of allowance for that to happen in our management of those feelings, to just really acknowledge them and say you're happening, and there isn't necessarily something I can do. Who knows? This is a passing surge of hormones or just the wind that blew the wrong way on me today. I don't know. And now I'm irritated. So yeah.
Yeah, that resonates. As like annoying as it is, when the answer is to just like there is no answer, it's okay, just it's fine. Yeah, I mean the way that I read that card was simultaneously like let it go, and like just be a little selfish and like take time to yourself. Which makes sense. I was also like scrutinizing it because I couldn't really see it. I thought it might have been the
it's tiny.
Balls,
yeah.
But yeah, it's beautiful. All right. Okay, what was the next one? Remind me what.
The next one we're looking at. This card was more about how do I mitigate the effects of my irritation on my relationship. This was now that I am at a place where we are accepting. This happens, I feel this way. That is the name of the game. You don't change that.
Yeah.
You got to work with that. Now we're bringing that into the focus here. I wonder if you'd like to offer a little further intention on what some of your concerns are about how it might affect your relationship that you are mitigating with this card.
Like, I just don't want it to continue down this path of resentment or annoyance. You know, I want to feel good and loving in my relationship.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So in a way, this card is directing us on how to remove ourselves from resentment, just building and brewing over time, and move ourselves closer toward really just appreciating the relationship and feeling that gratitude in the relationship. Are you ready now?
Sure.
Okay. Let's and I'll interpret this one first again. I won't we can just go ahead that way. I loved when you were saying just taking time for myself and being a little selfish about it, because this card is just continuing that message a little bit. The Five of Swords has appeared here. Often the Five of Swords is talking about like getting things your way, but not necessarily the way you wanted. You know, so this is probably just the moment where you're like, I feel like crap right now and I hate you and hate everything and I'm just going to be alone and bye. And like, not really how I wanted that to go, but I did it.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Hubris is the word that came to mind for me when I saw that card. I don't know why or what that's the word that came to mind. Maybe it's a warning against hubris.
You know, hubris could be a part of how it comes up and the actual experience of it, you know? It could feel like hubris when you are sitting here saying, this is what I need, this is what I want. It doesn't feel fair or right. I feel like I'm slighting you and taking advantage of you for what I'm about to ask for and how I'm going to treat you. But it's like, what I need, it feels like hubris. What I'm doing is hubris right now, like to me. But it is what I need for this feeling.
That feels in alignment with like my personality as well. So that works.
Cool.
Okay, I know that I'm like, okay, next card, but I'm really curious, and maybe it's the Aries moon, but I'm just like, all right, what's next?
Yeah.
So, yeah, how are they feeling about all of this?
Right. This last card, I'm actually going back in my own memory to recall, because we'd set so clearly managing your own feelings, managing them in the relationship. This is where I said, how do we call for support from your partner in inviting them into their role in the process of helping you manage your feelings and mitigate the resentment that they might brew in the relationship. This really takes the focus more on how am I directing them through this.
Sorry, that face was like, I'm worried that I've been directing them too much.
Right.
So maybe the card will
that could be summed up easily, right? That could come up. And I want to take a moment before I flip this card just to address something that you pointed out, how you were so ready to move into the next card, like almost like it was a rapid pace. In the interest of sharing this information for learning readers on the stream, lots of readings go at different paces depending who you're doing it with. We've done readings together. I know you. You have a lightning quick mind. You are fun to try and keep up with in a reading. It's like this, we're racing through. And there are a lot of readings where there's a lot more pause and process and deliberation. We are ready. You're ready for this next card.
Yes. Also, I just want to say I've definitely experienced slow readings as well.
I'm sure you have.
I've that person as well, but I think something about like our energy, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yep.
I'm ready.
Yep. Well, I vibe on and enjoy the fast readings, and we've got way too much Libra, so we're just like keying into what the other wants all the time, and yeah, I see that. Okay, let's call for some support. How interesting! I got a reversed moon.
Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting to look at. For a moment. I've spoken briefly to reversals on my channel earlier, and this is interesting because we just took a look at my interpretation for this card in its upright position a moment ago. But in the reversed positions, I'm usually looking at a card and considering what's fundamentally changed in this scenario, where it's the same scenario, but it's now not able to progress as it normally would to its next step in the cycle. And I'm looking at a moon that says, I've recognized that this isn't good. This feeling, this irritation, I don't like. It's got that acidic quality to it where I'm worried about resentment slowly brewing, and I'm worried about that. But I don't see an easy way to move out of it. I don't have that flow chart. That's just not a thing here. And so I'm kind of stuck. I'm stuck in this feeling of just, this is bad, this is not good. And I don't know how to get out. I don't even know how to move forward out of it. We're just stuck here. And it's interesting remembering the intention where we drew this card. This was how we call for support from our partner. Really indicating to your partner that I'm stuck. I'm really stuck in this feeling, and even though I recognize it's something that I need to move out of, I'm very aware that this is a moon-like situation where I need to move away from these sticky feelings. I am, for whatever reason, really stuck in them. And it's almost like this kind of just fair, honest summary and account of your feelings and how you're recognizing they fit into the relationship here. That's actually kind of where we begin to call for support.
Okay. Sure. That's like the card speaks for itself. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with that information, but that's okay. Obviously, communicating that is a good step.
There is an interesting and somewhat similar message across all three of these. And that is this just blanket accepting that you're having the feeling and that there isn't an easy way to just let it go. It's happening and you have to deal with it somehow. And there's not a way that you can find to deal with it that feels right to you either. And that's tricky. You just feel fundamentally having the feeling feels unfair. So fundamentally, from square one, it's just, I don't even know where to begin in writing this. I'm already wrong.
Wow. I'm much more stuck in that than I expected.
You know, there's probably something that's fair to mention just about feelings in general, and that is to recognize and remember that they are temporary. We are always moving, and time is ultimately the most powerful healer, especially when relating to our emotions. Just give it time is often will get you there. Sometimes we can't fast track it.
Right. I started meditating again intentionally with this particular thing in mind. So maybe I'll go do that. Maybe I'll go dance for a little bit.
Nice.
Alone in my room was the imagery that came up. So just like moving. Like when I hear like, oh, you're stuck, it's like just move in some way. Even just physically move your body.
I love that. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah.
Especially for someone stuck in something like depression, where the movement just contradicts that.
The moon actually really is indicative of depression for me when it's in the reverse sign, especially. Which would, make sense with the stuck type deal. And like when you know that there's something wrong and you just feel like you can't get out, you're like, this water is acid and I need to get out, but I can't. Like, how? Because like it's sucking me down. Like it's affecting my body in this way. So movement is definitely
Movement's a healer. Movement's a good healer. Thanks for pointing that out about the moon. It does really describe the experience of kind of depression that you're really stuck in very well in its reversed position. Of course, we didn't necessarily interpret it that way here because we were kind of talking about other things.
I was just thinking about that with cards where, that they do all have a set meaning, but then depending on the situation, you interpret that meaning differently. I was like, okay, so I was going to do that. I want to thank you. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know it's getting late.
That's fine. I'm here to do this.